I've been trying to make this video probably for a week now. Got a fresh cup of coffee. Think I have everything I need to at least start it out, so I'm just going to sit down and do it. Those of you that have been following the past, I don't know, 6-9 months, know that I took the movie Office Space and basically took INITECH, the company, and said, what if this was real back in 1998, 1999, and in building basically what would be their network. I've been doing it for a little while, packed it up, and took off to VCF Midwest where I had it at the table. I originally kind of planned on having some voice services to go along with it because I know ShadyTel there does a lot of voice, and I had data services from them this year, namely T1 circuits and some analog telephone lines, but I also kind of wanted to do a little bit more. I just kind of completely ran out of time and it took a back seat. But you can see on the network here, there are definitely some opportunities to put some voice in there. On the left-hand side, there's kind of a typical remote Windows 98 and Windows NT machines there. And the idea was, you have the remote side and you probably have some extensions hanging off the corporate office. And I wanted voice, but again, ran out of time. So got through VCF. Oh, there's a shot of ShadyTel's setup, which I think I got a T1 somewhere down in there. Great company. Highly recommend them. If you go to a VCF and they're around, use them. Absolutely. Kind of cool. They give you a little bill at the end on what you did, which it's like a no-bill bill. But you know what? Be nice. Pay it anyways. One of the reasons I wanted voice, and I kind of came back to this, we're going to go on this little side quest, is somebody gave me this Portmaster 3 at VCF, and I wanted to have some dial-up service. But before I get to there, I really wanted to kind of get through and have some voice. Got everything unloaded, unpacked. Here it is. Man, it's still kind of not unpacked. So I sat down when I got back and thought, all right, what would be a good selection? So I grabbed some screenshots from the movie. Looking around, you can see the phone there on the bottom of the screen. It looks really familiar. I could swear it was an AT&T or Lucent phone, but I wasn't exactly sure. And you can kind of see down there on the phone, gives you an idea what it looks like. My guess was late 90s, AT&T, one of the Merlin types, Nortel, I don't know, a couple of other options. Look up close here. There's a little red button which started to give it away for me. There we go. You can count the number of buttons, 10 of them, the number of buttons up there and how they're laid out. This is looking a lot like an AT&T phone. And you get to here, and guess what? Right on the back, and I swear that says Lucent on it. My guess, there was an Office with a Divinity in it, maybe, or even just a Merlin Legend. So I settled in on it and said, you know what? 1998, 1999, the Merlin Legend was around. That was a phone system, so let me go looking for one of those. So I posted a message in a Discord that I'm in, asking for a reputable reseller. And I get this post, this reply back to it. Somebody says, I have a Merlin Legend. You can have it if you pay to have it packed and shipped. I said, absolutely. So arranged for that. And about a week later, these two big boxes show up. Start unpacking. And yep, here we go. We have a Merlin Legend. Can't remember the model number, with some boards in it and 4 Merlin phones. Cool. I'm like, all right, I've never done any of this. Let's start documenting, and maybe it'll help somebody else. So I guess 2 parts to this. One, I'm going to kind of go through where I've learned, what I've done, and kind of where I'm at, what I have. And then, in the future, we're going to go through and try and set some of this stuff up to be used for INITECH. I think this will become the INITECH corporate phone system, and the new INIGame company division that they're starting up is going to get the new voice over IP stuff that is brand new in 99. Another shot of the phone system with the phones. Phones are just absolutely UV soaked. I'm going to end up buying some black ones because that was what was in the movie, but it's nice to have some phones to start with. Step 1 was installing the what's it, WinSPM software. There's a DOS version SPM, and after I'm done with this intro, I'm going to walk through how to install it, and we'll go through some of the configuration stuff before we end the video. So by the time you're done here, you should have a little bit of knowledge on how to connect to a Merlin Legend. It has this nifty little programming interface that you can use. Looks just like the phone. And the first thing I had to do was build an adapter to go from RJ45 that's on the phone system, the PBX, over to a DB9 on the laptop. Did a bunch of digging around, came up with this as the pinout. Here's a link available to, I'll include this GitHub link as usual in this video. Here's a link to Amazon to get some of them, and there's the pinout. Built those, connected it in. I had to do some digging for the WinSPM software. I only found one version of it out there. It is up here as well. The one that I found is in my GitHub repo. If anybody has earlier versions, this one is from like 2004, so it's a little later than what I wanted. I'd really like the DOS version, but I have not found it. If anybody has any leads on SPM versions, I would love to have them, or, really just put them as a PR into this GitHub too, if you can, or, message me, whatever. I guess next I'll go through the setup of WinSPM, and then we'll go through kind of how I programmed a little bit of it. It was pretty much set up. And then we'll do a demo of dialing around to each other. It's been a few days since I last recorded that intro. Actually, it's been like 10 days. Thought I'd get back to doing this, and we're going to start with installing WinSPM and how to get it going. Step one, I have a Windows XP VM sitting here. I've tried it on Windows 10, at least the version that I have, and it didn't work. Could be a 3264-bit thing, could just be it doesn't work on modern Windows. I tried on Windows 10 and 11, it didn't run, so I went back to VirtualBox and a Windows XP machine. On my machine, I have the WinSPM software sitting in my downloads folder, and I have that mapped up to the VM as the S drive. And there it is. So I guess, real quick rewind. I have a USB to DB9 serial cable installed on my laptop that's connected over to the adapter. Find the SPM software. I have version, I can't remember which version this is off the top of my head, but it's out there on the internet. It is WinSPM. Again, like I mentioned in the intro, there's a DOS version, but that's release 9 that I have. And kickoff setup. This is actually pretty straightforward. Like any Windows install. Let's just say next, next, next. Now, it does ask for a password. I think all it's doing is securing the database that it installs locally here. Support sites, I don't need. Let's put both. Let's skip that and say finish. It installs Adobe Acrobat Reader. I'm going to close that out. And now it's installed. So let's fire up WinSPM. Step 1, desktop setup. Okay, set password. Make it whatever you want. Set up a site. Let's add one site name. Let's call this INITECH Corp. How do we get to it? Direct. COM port. Let's see which COM port this is. 3. Baud rate. Let's try 2400. Let's apply that. We don't need to configure tap because we're not dialing in. Alright, fine. No. And let's connect. For some odd reason, it always seems to fail the first time. Go back to connect. Let's go connect. Second time it does. This does take a little bit. It is rather slow. I guess what you can see and notice is we are in key system mode, and it is running Legend release 6.1. This looks like it's also designed for the Magix system, because this is definitely a later version of WinSPM. And it looks like it is there. So let's go quick access. let's look at system inventory. Now I have, what, 1, 2, 3, 4 modules and a processor in here, and it does detect them. There's my processor module. It's a GLM, and this last one is an 800 GL. So it found all of my modules. A couple things you can do: go over to standard SPM, and it flips you over to this mode, and it looks more like the actual MLX display. On quick access, where do we start? Let's look at labeling, and let's start with extensions, and let's read the extensions that are already on it. I got kind of lucky, and mine were set up out of the box pretty well. Whoever had this had it set up really almost perfectly as is. It was pretty basic though. Again, this is kind of slow. How many extensions do I have? It looks like I have 24 extensions. We'll let this go. And that finished up. Yeah, I have 24 internals and, what is it, 4, 8, 12, 16. Looks like about 20 outside lines that I could put on here. What is it finding? Yeah, so 10. Yeah, it's finding all mine. Whoever had set this up looks like they had 1, 2, 3, 4. Looks like the first port on every 408 or something like that. No, it's not the first. It's like there's 2 ports set up as operator. I have to figure out how to change those. But there's all my extensions. Let's look up lines and trunks. It is kind of slow getting this information, but there are all of my lines and trunks that I have in here. There are, yeah, it looks like I have, 20 of them. One thing you can do is go over to capture data here, and instead of it gathering data every time you click on a tab or something somewhere, let's go ahead and let's just set it up. Calling groups, we don't need calling groups. Let's grab just sort of all of this information and any of the allow, disallow, maybe speed dials. It says it's going to take 15 minutes to gather this stuff. This does it one time and it populates your local database. I think there's a Merlin database engine running locally that gets populated, so we'll let it run. I'm going to pause this recording while this runs, and we'll come back to it, go through a couple things, set up a phone, and see if it works. Said it would take 15 minutes, took about 12. Capture of data is complete. So now we should have a whole bunch of stuff populated in here. Yep, so I had added like a quick dial into here, things like that we can go through later. I'm not sure what adjuncts are yet. I need to read the manual. Lines and trunks. So here's our internal extensions, which we'll go through how those work. Some of the messages that are built in. Not sure what group calling is. Looks like there's some in there now. I think those are the default extensions, which you can renumber these things if you want. Oh, set date and time. You can do that in here. You can synchronize your date and time between your host and there. There's the speed dial I put in. But essentially, like, all of the settings for the actual phone system itself are down here through quick access and the extension setup. But if we go to quick access, sorry, tools, standard SPM, yes, we can come over here. And this is where we can actually go in and change mode and things like that. So like go into system programming. You can change the mode from key to PBX, which is one that I want to experiment with in the future because its setup is, oh, here it is. It's sort of the least intuitive thing ever. And you can see here where like you can renumber the extensions and do like renumber the boards, renumber the extensions, or in the case of mode, that phone went beep. So we can go hybrid PBX or behind an existing switch. Right now we're in key mode. But that's about all you have to do. So if you come in here and you set up and you see all your extensions, you're pretty much ready to go. So we're going to plug in some handsets. Well, I guess what are they called? Voice terminals. Oh, that's a cool thing. You can actually have data hanging off the back of some of these and do a telephony interface with Java, which someday I might play with. But we're going to go through and I'm going to plug in some phones and I'm going to grab a different camera and we're going to call some people. Alrighty, now that it's all set up, we got some phones plugged in. There's the MLX20, basically the operator's console, as well as some other phones. I got them set up on what I think are sort of the first extensions. If we look down here on this first module right here, The first port is station is 10. That's the operator console by default. So we should have 10, 11, 12, 13, and 14 for the extensions. Here's my serial console port coming in. And I got them set up. That should be number 14. That is 10, 11, 12, 13, and up there is 14. So let's see. We should be able to call from number 10 over to number 11. Ha. Let's try 12. Yep. 13. And they all, let's see, let's try number 14. And they all work. So, first part done. Got it all configured. Got it set up. It's working. Got, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 extensions working. These ports up here are DID ports. As you can see, I got a bunch of those. This is for something coming up here pretty soon. I actually have some outside lines working. But what do we have here? We got a phone system. Basic one up and running and working. Yeah, it took me maybe an hour to get it going once I got SPM installed. If yours is kind of in the same state as mine, it should take you about the same amount of time. Let's see if this other thing works still. I got a treat coming up here. Yep, we'll go through that here in a little while. But anyways, that's enough for this video. Got my basic INITECH phone system working. Soon coming up here, we'll be getting it connected over to some other stuff. Anyways, take care. Laters.